Hi, my name is Lani Buess. I am a hypnotist, NLP practitioner, and energy healer here at Liberate Hollywood. And essentially, with all my modalities that I do, is essentially here to help empower someone in their life and provide them with new resources. The hypnotic work and the NLP work is basically here to help someone retrain their brain in order for them to create new habits in their life so that they can move forward and access and achieve their goals that they want in their life. And with the energy healing work, does that in a different way, in a different manner, is here to release blockages in your energy pathways, in your chakra system, for you to do the same thing in order for you to reach your fullest potential in your life. So although these different modalities are accessing the energy system, the mind, the emotions, it's a full body modality system in order for you to release any obstacles in your life so you can move forward and achieve the goals that you desperately want.
Hi, I want you to know that all of our amazing services are available remotely in the safety of your home. Whether that's getting an intuitive reading, an hypnotherapy session, and even an energy healing. And yes, they're just as effective remotely as they are in person. So please allow yourself to look up all of our practitioners, see the links below, or just call us to schedule an appointment. We're here for you. And I know that this is a challenging time for all of us, and we're going to get through it together.
And then I just made a mess.
That's okay. The cleaners will take care of it. We have people for that.
Hi, this is Christina Dam, and this is Liberate the Podcast, where we educate, motivate, inspire, and liberate your consciousness.
Welcome to Liberate's Deep Cuts. I am Lani, and this is...
I'm Travis.
That's right.
Happy to be here with you today. We came up with a question as our question for the day.
Yeah.
Which is...
Is it a question?
I had a question about what we were going to talk about.
Because we're just kind of winging this, folks, but not.
Well, I think, and then we came to the conclusion that we would be helpful to talk about the unknown, right? So what is the magic of the unknown in our lives? How do we create it?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to live in the unknown? We want to know what it is that's going to show up in our lives.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that can be a barrier to us.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're goal-seeking individuals, right? We all have, like, things that we want to attain and things we want to achieve. And there's that kind of that transition when you're kind of waiting for that to happen or wanting that to happen and not sure if it's going to happen. And you kind of have to be okay with that present moment, right?
Yeah. So we're talking about it in our own lives. Both of us are in situations where, you know, for example, I'm being considered for a television show. I would have no idea 6 months ago when I moved down to Los Angeles. That wasn't even on my radar. I was not moving to LA like most people's dreams, hoping to be on TV and in a movie. I came down because I was following synchronicities that led me here, none of which did I actually know until I got here why I was coming. And so here we are 6 months later, and I'm meeting with executive producers and being considered. Well, it's like, oh my God, like I didn't even know the lingo like 6 months ago.
That's insane, everything that you're doing.
Yeah. But the thing is like I don't know, and it's like, how do I trust? And it wasn't something that I would tell you that I had, even within my own self. Like I didn't trust myself for a long time, suffering in addiction cycles and self-defeating patterns and beliefs that I felt everything that went wrong in my day I deserved or had created because of something I did. But here we are now, and I'm like, wow, it's okay to not know. It really is. Yeah. In fact, there's some actual fun and play that comes with that.
Yeah. And even in my situation, it's not as fancy as yours, Travis.
It's fancy. She's already on TV.
We are right now on TV.
Yeah, right now.
But yeah, it is similar sense.
You have your own show.
Yeah, I have my own show. It's going to be streaming soon, like next week.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire for Hypnosis Network, and where I'll be talking about imposter syndrome with all these like educators or hypnotists and psychologists.
I thought you were going to say all these smart people. I was like, wait, you're one of them.
What are you trying to say?
You're saying like the imposter syndrome is happening right now.
Well, that's why I kind of created that for,
I'm saying what I'm saying. It's happening.
So yes. So we're all going to be hosting our own show.
Yeah.
But not knowing, like even knowing and having this show come out and like interviewing numerous guests, and I don't know what's going to be the outcome of that. I don't know if it's going to draw an audience or if people are going to be interested in learning about, but I know
I'm going to watch.
Oh, thanks. I'm going to watch your show, of course. But yeah, and I think it also is about like doing what you're driven to or passionate about. Like the topic for me was, I was passionate about it because it's something I was dealing with, like feeling like a fraud even though you're successful, and doing things that, you're competent in. But, and I think that's part of it. I just was driven to something that I felt like I had a voice in it, the topic. Yeah. And I was like, how can I help other people overcome or shift out of this, fraud feelings, when they're really capable individuals and like doing good things in the world. And like, how can I, it's the point, which is basically getting all these professionals and really interesting people, providing solutions to that. And then this show came about, like I was being offered to do it. And I was like, oh, perfect. Like avenue. Yeah. But also the not knowing of if it's going to lead to anything and you not knowing,
I mean, the point that we were talking about earlier before we started the show, which got us to the topic of the unknown, was that I don't know if this particular show is going to pan out. I had an interview just yesterday, and they're going to put a clip together and send it to TV executives, and they'll decide whether or not they want to meet me, but the show is greenlit, and yet these other producers are like, hey, we really think you'd be great, if not for this show, maybe some other shows. And I'm like, you know what? Yes, be available. I am available for this, but I didn't anticipate it. And so that's kind of my own learning process, is that sometimes when we think we know what we want and we push ourselves down this path, we're 90% to where we think we want, and we're not happy and we don't know why. Yeah. We're like, well, I thought I wanted that thing. Yeah. And what, in my experience, I've noticed is that when I do that, I'm getting in the way of the universe bringing my greater gift of my ability to create. So when I focus not on necessarily on the specific thing that I think I want, but instead how I want to feel at the end of the day, that's really what brings all these other things together. And learning how to access my intuition in doing so was like, that was the magic part. That was really it. You said such pivotal things right there. Like one, and I think we do get caught up. We think we have like this specific goal in mind. Right. And that's where we can get tripped up, because it's like, oh, even if you get that and you're like, oh, I might not like that at all. So it's really having what you're kind of like what you're passionate about or what your value is behind that. Like, well, that's I think really about my brother, right? He had an accounting degree. I think it's called accounting. But and then he tried to pass the accounting test like 5 times. Oh. And each time he failed. And I didn't even know this. Like when he was alive, I don't know how many times he took it, but it was a lot, and then I would have probably stopped it about the 3rd time and said, do I really want to be an accountant? Like, is this it's like in my world a sign, right? Maybe, try something else. Right. So the signs are going to show up for you as well, telling you maybe this isn't right for you. And it's our job to listen and pivot, to be okay with like, oh my God, I could be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Yeah. It's not a failure. Yeah, and also maybe even be a little bit more vague about what that goal that you have in mind is, like how, just like you didn't know a show was going to come about, right? But like you're being driven to what's kind of what is making you excited inside, right? You know what I mean? Like whether that's like a desire or value, something that you value, like it's kind of those other factors. So it's like like I've had different jobs where I thought like this is the job, but I liked what it provided, what I felt like I got from it, like connection. I'm all about connection and growth. And then I was like, oh yeah, I want this job. And if I didn't have that in it, I'd be like, oh, this is not what I wanted. So it's kind of like knowing what your deeper values in life are. Like what's really driving you, what's getting you to wake up in the morning. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, what makes your heart sing. Yeah. And sometimes our path doesn't. Yeah. And we're already on it. And so okay, well, it's okay to say, I want to do something else, but I don't know what that is. And if you wake up in the morning and you're not happy with what you have in your life, then that's a great time to set up a new question, which is, okay, all y'all, even if I don't believe in God, even if I don't believe in the universe, even if I have this agnostic or atheist mentality, we understand how the brain works and how we can create what we want. So the idea behind that is the same, whether we believe in a spiritual nature to us or not, is that, okay, well, I don't know what I want to do, so maybe show me. Universe, show up for me in some way.
Yeah.
Remind me of who I am. Remind me of what I want to see.
Yeah. And that ability that you have, one is, I feel like, is like asking yourself really good questions, you know?
Yeah.
It's because it's like, those are like, okay, yeah, what is it that, the greater want there,
Right. Well, I like the vagueness that you talked about. I think that's really, really powerful, because I think our linear brains really like to have an answer. We like the math, because it's like, well, I hated it, but I took as advanced as I could just so I never had to take it again. I was like so happy when I didn't have to do it again. But my point is, we kind of like, there's some security, right, in our emotional stability to say, I know that I will be happy when I get this degree, or this job, like you talked about. But it's like, okay, if I'm open to, and flexible in my thinking, and being okay living in the unknown, then perhaps something else that I like more might show up before I make that decision and dive down that road.
Yeah. And I think it also has to do a lot with, like, really, like, living in the known, being okay with being in the present moment, like really having that, or having no expectations. I think that's where, for me, I go, okay, like, I'm putting all these things out there, like these potential opportunities, and just like, and that's okay. Like, whether something comes from that or not, like, I know I'm putting, like, energy out, and eventually in some way, shape, or form, it's going to be recognized.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it'll be okay no matter what.
Yeah. I think sometimes I think about, I used to put too much energy in too many things simultaneously, and then wonder why any of them never panned out. And so there is some idea of, like, some general focus that could be helpful. Not saying completely, what's going on today, people?
Yeah, you want to love finish things. In that sense,
you already have the industry, right? You already know what industry you're in and what you want to do and what you love. And so that's I'm joking, obviously, but
no, that's a good point, though. Yeah, I'm not encouraging people just to be hot messes.
Just hot, and then leave the mess to someone else.
Oh God, that's funny. I like that you said all y'all before. I was like, who are you calling all y'all?
All y'all, okay, so all y'all is my own thing, I guess. I haven't heard this used by anyone else. But when I started to do energy work, when I started to communicate with people who weren't there, and I didn't know who they were, I recognized that some beings were around me when I was working with clients, and I don't necessarily have to, know them on an interpersonal level, because they're showing up when I work with a client. And so what I realized is I can still have a personal relationship with beings who are here for my highest good, because I happen to believe that. And so I say, all y'all, whoever is here for my highest good, I need your help. I don't got this. Maybe I don't ever think I got this, but I believe and have faith and trust that if I ask for your help, you will show up in my life in a way that I can easily understand. And I say that out loud often, because I am very stubborn. Very.
Yeah.
So I
like that you say it in a southern accent.
Y'all? Was it southern accent?
A little
or just
bit.
all y'all?
It's,
all
well,
y'all.
the expression is very southern as well.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Southern expression. Yeah. So, yeah.
Sorry,
for my family in the South.
But I feel like even you saying that is a great way people can become more okay with their present unknown.
Right.
Just like invoking, whoever you believe in, during those times when you feel like you're unsettled in life and don't know what direction you're going in. I think that's a great way just to feel like some peace of mind as well.
Yeah.
So like I'm not alone, and I can invoke and call in some angels if that's what you believe in.
Yeah. And if you don't believe in angels, go understand how science works and the science of the creation of my voice and our energy frequency. We know from science that energy follows thought. and thought creates energy. So if we have a thought, we have a desire, we have a request, and we verbalize it, we are creating in the universe a vibrational frequency that is matched to that verbalization. And when we do so consistently over time in a specific way, then whatever it is that we are asking for will show up. And it depends on how often we do it, how much time we have to do it, and how happy we are when we do it, about how quickly it shows up. But it's also like recognizing the humility that we all want to have. For me, like, I don't got this. In many ways, my life, I have shown up in every way I didn't need to be in my life, with addiction and self-destructive patterns and things like that. And it's like, okay, I need help. You know, sometimes we get projected this expectation that we have to have it all. And not only do we have to have it all, we have to have it all by the age of 16. We have to know, we have to be 100% committed to who we want to be, what we're going to do, and be very good at it.
Yeah.
And what if that doesn't make us happy?
Yeah. That illusion. Oy.
Yes, that's illusion. Or the parental influences, or
Sorry, mom and dads.
Sorry. No, we love you.
Yeah,
truly.
just kidding. But yeah. I mean, I think that's also what you said is important. You're out of high school, and by like 17, you have to figure out where you're going to go to school, what you're going to study, all these crazy things when you think about it. And of course, we're all impatient and want to know what we want to know.
Well, okay,
we don't want to live in the unknown right now.
This. What was your undergrad degree in?
I had an English degree, and then I used it, hated it, used it.
So, like, for what?
I was a writer. I was a journalist for a decade.
Oh my God,
yeah,
cool.
and then I was like, oh, this is sacrificing my entire social life.
I can feel the way you're saying. You're like,
yeah,
this sucks.
I literally remember getting an email one day because I was working at a daily newspaper, and they're like, here are all the holidays. What one holiday do you want to have off? Because you had to work like all the time and everything, and I was like, and then you were getting bad pay, and I was like, this is not worth it. It's not how I want to live my life. And then I kind of just went off tangents, like career wise and stuff like that. And so
mine's all been like a process of elimination. Like, try this, don't like it. I thought I wanted to be a psychologist because I really respected and related to my uncle, who was a psychologist for District 81 in Eastern Washington, and so I tried that, and then hated it. It was really weird. I thought, this is really stupid. I got into sociology then, and I got a major in criminology and sociology, which is useful if you want to work in a prison. But I didn't.
You're like, I don't want to do that.
I didn't want to do that. So then I was like, law sounds fun. So I did the lawyer thing.
Wow.
Law school, which I loved. It can sound crazy, but the law I found fascinating, so interesting. And the law is actually organic and moves, and it sets up codes for our behavior and and stuff. Which I know I'm talking about that now, but I think my point is, I kind of knew that. I didn't know what kind of law I wanted to do, and it took a long time until I realized by process of elimination what I wanted to get into, which was civil rights and employment law and social justice issues. But that was before I even recognized that I had any intuitive abilities consciously.
I think we do that a lot as people, though.
Yeah.
We know what we don't want, like process of elimination, but like, what is it that we do want? It's like murky for a lot of people, like initially, because it's like, what is it I do want that's going to move me,
If I knew now what if I knew then what I know now, I don't know. I don't want to go back in my head. It's terrible things.
Don't stress me out right now.
Yeah, but as it relates to kind of that unknown, I think, I don't know, I just sort of feel like being okay with not even being okay.
Yeah. I don't think we both knew we were going to be here, sitting here right now
We
today.
didn't know that even an hour ago.
Yeah. Or working at the shop together. Working at the shop. Yeah. It's like, enjoy the ride. It really is a ride.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As it comes to the hypnosis that you do, the practice, the practical level, how does our topic of the unknown factor in the work that you do?
Well, the interesting thing that you said before about like energetically how, what we say and do, I think of neuroscience, like when I'm, the more you say something, the more you do something. Yeah. But like the more you say something and do something, you're creating habitual patterns that become unconscious.
Right.
And your neural pathway in your brain.
Right.
So, you know, so if we're constantly, you know, if we're okay with the unknown, like if we can be at peace with that, and we kind of have that instilled in our brain, like we will just, that will be how we're operating, you know?
You know, that's so fascinating because when we think about those patterns that we have in our lives, you know, they help us go through our day, do our things. But what you said is so powerful because we often forget that we learn through fear and discomfort, and we can't really learn otherwise. We don't grow, we don't expand, we don't become more of who we are. We just are doing that thing that we're comfortable with. So when we become more comfortable with our discomfort, then we actually can start owning our life a bit more and saying, okay, I remember this because I'm a climber, and a lot of people that I ask, do you want to go climbing with me? They say it's the same scenario pretty much most of the time. They're like, I'm afraid of heights. I can't go climbing. I'm afraid of heights. Yeah. And my response is usually the same. So what? So am I. And yet, over time, I've learned that, one, it's an incredibly fun activity, and there's a bit of danger, not death, but you know, you could hurt yourself and fall. But when you practice and do something, you actually could learn a new skill. It's great for the body, your physique, and it feels really good to challenge yourself to try something a little bit harder than you did the day before. And so I found it to be amazing. But it's always interesting to me, the people that say, I'm afraid of something. Yeah. And I say, okay, so then what?
And you're kind of touching upon it as well, just like finding like comfort in the discomfort.
Right.
Essentially is living your life more with just being in that state of curiosity.
Right.
Because I think if you're curious, then you're kind of like looking at things objectively. You know, you're not owning into any like emotion or deep feeling of whether that's like negativity or even a positive emotion. You're kind of just stepping back and you're kind of just observing your life in that sense. Not something you want to do all the time, but curiosity is a great way to just be open to possibility and not put a negative connotation on it, you know, not have it feel bad for you or not, you know, just like if you're curious, then you're just open to the unknown. You're open to the possibilities, whatever that may be, you know, and that's how we learn too. I've been just talking to people on the topic of learning, right? And there's oftentimes, you know, there's that kind of how do you actually say in your mind, I don't know? Like if you don't know something, you know, some people are like, I don't know. Or it could be like, I don't know. Like you could freak out and be like, I don't know. Yeah. And that's kind of like
mad at yourself.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I don't have the answer.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, how are you living in the unknown? It's something like, I don't know.
That's such a fascinating point, because how often do people just say, I don't know?
Yeah.
They want to answer. Somebody asks me a question. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're patient. Yeah, they want to know what is it, you know?
Yeah, especially, you know, being clairvoyant.
Yeah.
They assume I know everything. I don't know everything. You know? But I continually grow and learn with everybody that I work with. Yeah. But it's okay to say, I don't know, but, you know, let me get back to you.
Yeah, and even saying that, it's sometimes you'll get an answer shortly after, because you're just being curious in that state of not knowing. Yeah. And that's what the unknown is. You have to be curious in that state of being, because that's where you are, you know? It's a transition point from something that's coming up next, you know? It's like...
Yeah. Well, it fosters introspection as well, which we don't often do. I mean, nowadays, we're so busy from the moment we wake up. You know, we have to get physically fit, so we work out, usually before work. People get up at 4:30, and I'm like, good for you. Not for me. No. But, you know, here in LA, I've noticed that. I'm like, wow, kudos to people that get up and work. You know, you work out 2 hours, then you go to work all day. You're on your phone from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Most people can't have their phone when it's not within reach. Yeah. Working all day, building their life in the way that they think they should, or in their own patterns. And we don't spend much time actually reflecting, independent of any influence on ourselves, or creating that introspection of saying, am I happy? Like, am I happy right now?
Yeah.
I might be reflecting other people's experiences or like projecting my story that I've told myself so often I think I believe it.
Yeah.
I did that in a relationship for 7 years, 6 years too long, you know, where I said I was happy and I thought I was happy, but I really wasn't. Like, not if you like, you know, I was like, I should have been with somebody who like gave me the self-respect that I deserved, but I didn't have it for myself at that point, you know, so it was reflected perfectly in that relationship. But my point is, if you're curious, like you talk about, you know, being curious about what we think we know, we actually might be enlightened to find out something more about who we are, what we want, what we like.
Yeah. Chance for our consciousness to just expand, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Opening the door.
Open the door.
More. Just a little bit more.
What's on the other side of the door?
I don't know. We're dumb.
Little silliness. Little silliness.
Oh,
the polka dot and pink.
A pink Easter egg.
So, unknown. What else about the unknown? It's out there.
I don't know. I don't know.
The unknown.
I had to be careful drinking around you. I had to
So we have this
spit
problem.
that out.
Yeah, it's something that happens. Every time I seem to say something funny only when she has the cup on. So I've learned to like keep it down.
Tone it down, Travis.
After I hear the, and then we're good. So living in the question, I think, is something. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that particular point. I mean, other than, you know,
I think we killed that.
we killed it. It's done. The horse is.
Step back.
What else? I'm trying to channel now, which is fun.
Are you? Let's see what they have to say about the unknown.
Who they? Them?
Y'all.
All y'all. Okay, so I'm going to ask all of them to show up for me and help me understand more about this question of the unknown. Okay.
Okay, good.
So what I'm seeing. What?
That's so quick.
I know. It's really convenient. We think too much. We use too much of our brain in the answers that belong in the body. So it's not about what I think, but how I feel. So when we get into our feeling space around the questions we want to ask ourselves, our brain, which is so good about the grocery list and maybe good about the budget, but that's what it's designed for, you know, is now getting out of the way. So the curiosity is better asked and deliberated about with our feelers, with our what do I feel? How does this make me feel? The curiosity about what we think we know. I think you get a whole different layer, a whole different, you know, frequency of understanding and awareness in your life than just what do I think?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we're like feeling-based individuals. You know, everything's felt sense. Yeah. So
this is our. You know, the thing is, I chose this body. You chose that body. It's unique to our energy frequency. We chose it because we knew at some level that this is going to be the best body for me in my life to learn the lessons and experience the things that I want to learn in this life. Yeah. So get to know it. You know, get to know the thing a little bit more.
I should have asked my body to be a little taller.
I was going to say a little less furry, but it was too late. Jokingly, I was like, I tried to take myself out. I mean, I wrapped the umbilical cord around my neck and died. Like, that sucked. But,
Jesus.
you know.
That got dark quick, Travis.
Well, it was reality.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was going to happen. Or did I?
You did. Apparently, you must have.
I must have known. Which kind of brings in this miracle part, right? Yeah. But the point is, when you're open and curious around the experiences that you have had, rather than a story about, you know, I am a victim to life's experiences, but rather, how did I create this experience in order to grow? Like, what did I learn? Yeah. And if you didn't learn it, you're going to keep seeing it, and you're going to wonder why. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And then you'll come see people like me, or you. Yes. So, let's take you back.
That was a good point. I had nothing to add to that. I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Totally good.
Well, I'm reminded of the experience that I had with you when you were What was there was a particular thing that you repeated. You're saying, no, don't do it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like my love life or something?
No, you were saying this one thing, and it was like, it was this mantra almost that you would say, and I was like, was it the question? I'm sorry, I'm not remembering.
I'm not remembering that.
It was the way of the your guided meditation. You were saying this phrase over and over that was like expanding my...
Okay. So I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Could you say it?
I think so. Are you talking like the space between?
The space between.
Yes.
The space between.
Yes.
We've got it. Just took a second.
Yeah. So kind of like cultivating the space between.
Right.
All things, really, essentially.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
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 Thank you.
Yes.
That was it. Full circle.
Yeah. So that actually makes sense in so many realms. No, you say. So I had this hypnotic induction where I basically cultivate the space in between. So space between your fingers, space between that hand and the floor below you, and kind of just playing with that concept. Mm-hmm. And then there's a moment where you close your eyes and consider the space between each breath you take, each beat of your heart, space between each thought you have. And sort of when you think about the space between, at some point you realize you are the space between. Yeah. Like you are the thing between everything that's happening around you. And if you think of that, sort of like you're like the calm in the storm, you know? And if you can really cultivate that, like that in your daily existence, being that space between, you kind of can't get ruffled by like how life is around you if it's not working out the way you want it to, because you realize like that's just external stuff. Like you can cultivate that calm, quiet interior. Well, it just reminded me, the image that I had of you when you were leading me in that comes to me now as this idea that the unknown is that space between. Yeah. You know, it's unknown. We don't know. I mean, even at the molecular level, we still don't necessarily know the size of an atom. The closer we get to knowing its size, the less we're able to determine where the heck that thing is. Yeah. And then when we try to find it, we don't know how big it is. So we still don't. Yeah. You know, we're finding other smaller atoms and quarks and these new subatomic particles we wouldn't even understand when I was, in school. But, this idea that what we think we know and what is truth, what is reality, are entirely different. And so if we go into the unknown and say, I'm going to be open to learning something about myself or the world, and understand that my blind spot, if my consciousness is a circle and my awareness is a slice of that pie, my unknown is 90 to 95% of what's going on around me. So what if I bring my awareness a little bit bigger to say, what is it that I don't know? Yeah. Oh, it's unknown, right? Yeah. So you say, okay, now you can invite your higher self or your wisdom, or just say, okay, how about y'all help me see what I need to see? Answer the question I'm not asking. How about that? Wouldn't that be cool? That's nice. I like that. Because it's already happening in your life. Yeah. Every question you ever had, you're living out with your vibrational frequency. Everything that you have now is a result of everything that you've thought and created until now. And you can't change the future unless you change what you're thinking right now, or what your perception. Right. Ultimately, that's very true. In a woo-woo way and a scientific way. Because we got science. Science is finally catching up, thank God. Yeah. I mean, the work I do is pretty science-based. It seems it's artful and woo, but it's really, it's all about... It's really cool. The neural pathways and stuff, and we all work with energy here, so it's... But it's totally true. So you really can kind of... I don't want to say manipulate your future, but in ways you can, well, clearly. Course it's manipulation. Yeah. It's a form of mindfulness, right? I'm taking control of what I'm creating. Yeah, and if you can do that, then obviously you can be totally fine with living in the unknown. It is what you make of it. Right. Dum-dum. Yeah. That was the drums. I don't make sounds. I always make things silly at the end. So should we wrap this sucker up? Thank you so much for living with us in the unknown. I didn't know what I was going to say. I clearly didn't know what I was going to say the entire time. But you can find me and Travis here together on Fridays at Liberate Hollywood. Right?
Yeah.
Right? And you're
absolutely.
here. What other days are you here?
I'm also here Tuesdays and Sundays. So Tuesdays, I also lead a meditation here, which you can join. You can go to @_ or you can go to Liberate Hollywood, and you can find the events page and look for the live stream events there. And it's at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays. And you can also, visit me on my Instagram @_ Travis Taylor.
Excellent.
We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to see you.
Yes, and you can find me here at Liberate on Mondays and Fridays from 4 to 9, practitioner shifts. And you can also find me here on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. for my hypnotic Mind Your Mind meditation. So yeah, and you can find me on liberatehollywood.com on our website, and you can book a session with me there.
Yeah, me too. You can do a distance session, actually.
Ooh.
Can you do distance?
I can do, yeah. I can totally do things through Zoom.
So you can totally book a distance session from wherever you are on those days. You can just find the practitioner and then go there. And then just a little bit about the meditation that I do Tuesdays is a grounding, self-healing soul meditation that I do, that I was channeled to do last fall, and I've been doing it ever since. It's great.
Awesome. Well, it was nice talking with you today,
yeah,
Travis.
You too. Super fun.
Totally fun. And I hope you enjoyed this Deep Cuts.
Deep Cuts. Bye, Deep Cuts.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this conversation, like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends. If you want some more amazing resources on your path of liberation, head over to liberateyourself.com and sign up for our mailing list. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram at Liberate Hollywood, all one word, or Liberate Emporium, all one word. Until next time, liberate yourself.
Hi, my name is Travis, and I help people become more of their whole selves and help them heal traumas, whether that's physical, spiritual, or emotional level, using several modalities of healing and hands-on work and also psychic channeling. Part of me would like to say that it was a coincidence that I went to this Reiki class back in 2007, and during that class I learned that I was clairvoyant, but I think now I would describe it as my destiny, that in fact I was led to go to that class, which opened up the doorway of my own health and wellness and healing modalities that I needed to learn, and also gave me greater gifts to share with the world. I think it was part of my karmic destiny to return and help in the way that I can to help people heal their lives and become more empowered. I use a specific modality called Phoenix Fire, which I was attuned to do in 2013, which is essentially working at the soul level to protect the soul from vibrational attacks or energy vampires. And also it is very helpful for decording when you have past relationships, this life or past lives, that are still resonating now in ways that aren't helping you. I also use Reiki and other forms of hands-on healing, which help move energy in the body and at the soul level, which helps to align people to the path that they are destined to live. What I often find with my clients is that they've come to me because they feel like they are confused about something going on in their life, or they continue to attract environments which they don't like, or they don't feel empowered, or they're questioning themselves. And so the modalities that I use help people understand more about the journey that they're on and how they can take control of their lives, feel better, and be more of who they wanted to be when they came here. I'm most passionate, I think, about being able to create a loving, supportive, and heart and soul-centered environment for clients to heal. It's such an honor and a privilege to be in the space where a moment happens and people have this awareness about who they are, or they're able to grieve over something they may not have been able to before, or they are able to see themselves for who they truly are in a more empowered and soul-centered way. If anything that I've shared resonates with you, or there are any questions that you have that feel unanswered in your life, I hope that you take the time to come see me, even if for a 15-minute reading, because you'll be glad you did. You'll learn more about yourself, you'll let go of things that might be holding you back in your life, and you'll feel more empowered about your decisions. I hope to see you soon.